I am Dr. Jesse John, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today we are discussing the anatomy of the clinical pathology of the thorax, and we have discussed some part of it earlier, and today we will discuss the later part of the clinical thorax. Namaste, Hamesha खुश रहो बिटिया. And we have discussed the cervical rib and failed chest, sternal fracture, median sternotomy, sternal biopsy, rib excision, and thoracic outlet syndrome, and dislocation of the ribs, middle thoracostomy, and penetrating injuries of the diaphragm. Now we will discuss the breast pathology. So whatever clinical pathology of the breast we will study here. First we will study the breast quadrants. For the anatomical location and description of the pathology, the breast is divided into four quadrants. The axillary tail in an extension of the mammary gland of the superior lateral quadrant. So we can see this is breast, and the changes such as branching of the lactiferous ducts occur in the breast tissue during the menstrual cycle and pregnancy. Although mammary glands are prepared for secretion by mid-pregnancy, they do not produce milk until shortly after the baby is born. Colostrum is a creamy substance may secrete from the nipple during the last trimester of the pregnancy and during initial episodes of the nursing. Colostrum is believed to be especially rich in protein, immune agents, and a growth factor affecting the infant's intestine. In multiparous women, the breasts often become large and pendulous. The breasts in elderly women are usually small because of the decrease in fat and the atrophy of the glandular tissue. Now we will see the carcinoma of the breast. Understanding the lymphatic drainage of the breast is of practical importance in predicting in the metastasis of the cancer cell from the carcinoma of the breast. Carcinoma of the breast are malignant tumors, and these metastatic cancer cell enter a lymphatic vessel that usually pass through two or three groups of the lymph nodes before entering the venous system, and it can spread lymphatics and veins as well as by direct invasion. And we can see the lymphatic drainage by cancer cause lymphedema, and in turn they result in deviation of the nipple and thickened leather-like appearance of the skin. Prominent or puffy skin between dimpled pores gives an orange peel appearance. Larger dimples result from cancer invasion of the glandular tissue and fibrosis, which causes shortening or presses traction on the suspensory ligaments. Subareolar breast cancer may cause inversion of the nipple by a similar mechanism involving the lactiferous ducts. Breast cancer typically spread by means of lymphatic vessels, which carry cancer cells from the breast to the lymph nodes, chiefly those in the axilla. The cell lodges in the nodes, producing nest of the tumor cell. Abundant communication among lymphatic pathways and among axillary cervical parasternal nodes may also cause metastasis from the breast to develop in the supraclavicular lymph node, the opposite breast, or the abdomen. Because most of the lymphatic drainage of the breast is to axillary lymph nodes, they are most common site of the metastasis from a breast cancer. Enlargement of these palpable nodes suggests the possibility of the breast cancer and may be key to early detection. However, the absence of the enlarged axillary lymph node is no guarantee that metastasis from a breast cancer has not occurred, because the malignant cell may have passed to other nodes such as the infraclavicular and supraclavicular lymph nodes. Nodal metastasis breast cancer can be difficult to manage because of the complex system of this lymphatic drainage. The posterior intercostal veins drain into the azygous vein alongside the bodies of the vertebra and communicate with the internal vertebral venous places surrounding the spinal cord. Cancer cell can also spread from the breast by these venous routes to the vertebrae and form there to be cranium and the brain. Cancer also spreads by contiguity when breast cancer cell invade the retromammary space, attach to or invade the pectoral fascia overlying the pectoralis major, or metastasize to the interpectoral nodes. The breast elevates when the muscles contracts. This movement is a clinical sign of the advanced cancer of the breast. Mammography is the radiographic examination of the breast, one of the techniques used to detect breast masses. The carcinoma appears as a large density in the mammogram. The skin is thickened over the tumor. The lower ladder points to the nipple, which is depressed in the mammogram. Surgeons use mammography as a guide when removing breast tumors. Surgical incision of the breast, incision placed in the inferior breast quadrants when possible because these quadrants are less vascular than the superior ones. The transition between the thoracic wall and breast is more abrupt inferiorly, producing a line or crease or deep skin fold, the inferior cutaneous crease. An incision made along this crease will be least evident or may actually be hidden by a overlap of the breast. Mastectomy is not common as it once was as a treatment of the breast cancer. Simply, mastectomy breast is removed down to the retromammary space. Radical mastectomy, a more extensive surgical procedure, involves removal of the breast pectoralis muscle, fat, fascia, as many lymph nodes as possible in the axilla and pectoral region. Herpes zoster infection, a viral disease of the spinal ganglia. It is dermatologically distributed skin lesion, and the herpes virus invades the spinal ganglion and transported along the axon to the skin, where it produces an infection that causes a sharp burning pain in the dermatome supplied by the involved nerve. A few days later, the skin of the dermatome becomes red and vesicular eruption appear. You can see here, dyspnea is a difficult to breathe in, and the people who has the respiratory problems such as asthma, emphysema with heart failure struggle to breathe. They use their accessory respiratory muscle to assist the expansion of their thoracic cavity. They typically lean on a table or their thigh to fix their pectoral girdles, so the muscles are able to act on their rib attachment and expand the thorax. Pneumothorax, as a result of disease or injury, air can enter the pleural cavity from the lungs or through the chest wall. This condition is known as pneumothorax. Pulmonary collapse: if a sufficient amount of air enters the pleural cavity, the surface tension adhering visceral to parietal pleura is broken and the lung collapses because of the inherent elasticity. When a lung collapses, the pleural cavity, normally a potential space purple, become real space. The pleural cavity is located between the parietal pleura and visceral pleura. One lung may be collapsed after surgery. We can see the cholesterol lung, hydrothorax, hemothorax, and chylothorax. Entry of air into the pleural cavity. Pneumothorax resulting from a penetrating wound of the parietal pleura or rupture of the lung from a bullet. For example, resulting in partial collapse of the lung. Fractured ribs may also tear the parietal pleura and produce pneumothorax. This may also occur as a result of leakage from the lung through an opening in the visceral pleura. Accumulation of the significant amount of the fluid in the pleural cavity, hydrothorax, may result from pleural effusion. With a chest wound, blood may also enter the pleural cavity. This condition results more often from injury to the major intercostal vessel than from the laceration of the lung. Lymph from a torn thoracic duct may also enter the pleural cavity. Chyle is a pale white or yellow lymph fluid in the thoracic duct containing fat absorbed by the intestine. Pleuritis, pleuritis during inspiration and expiration, the normally moist smooth pleurae make no sound detectable by auscultation. However, inflammation of the pleura is called pleuritis, make the lung surface rough. The resulting friction may be heard with a stethoscope. Acute pleuritis is marked by sharp stinging pain, especially on exertion, such as climbing stairs, when the rate and depth of the respiration may be increased even slightly. Thoracentesis is necessary to insert a hypodermic needle through an intercostal space into the pleural cavity to obtain a sample of pleural fluid or to remove blood or pus. To avoid damage to the intercostal nerve and vessel, the needle is inserted superior to the rib, high enough to avoid a collateral bronchus. These are assessment assignment question. This is what is cervical rape and what is the clinical pathology of the breast explained. Thank you.